There comes a time in every life where the walls collapse, the light fades, and everything that once made sense falls apart. Maybe you've lost everything. Maybe you've been betrayed, rejected, or overlooked. Maybe life hit you so hard that you can't even breathe. When that happens, it's tempting to believe that you're finished. But I'm here to tell you, you are not done. You are being redefined. When life destroys you, don't fight the destruction. Understand it. Something in you had to break so something greater could be built. The pain is real. But so is the power growing inside of you right now. You're not being buried. You're being planted. And there's a big difference. There are moments in life when everything seems to fall apart. The ground beneath you crumbles, and you're left wondering how it all happened so fast. One day you're standing strong, full of plans and dreams, and the next, everything is shattered. Your relationships, your finances, your health, your confidence. It's in moments like these that most people want to give up. But what if the destruction you're facing is not the end? What if, instead of being your downfall, it's the beginning of your greatest reinvention? When life destroys you, it feels personal. It feels like the world has targeted you, like your prayers have been ignored, like the heavens have closed. But what we often fail to see in these moments is that destruction can be sacred. When things fall apart, it's not always punishment. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes what's being removed from your life is not a curse, but a gift in disguise. When a storm blows through a forest, it may tear down the old trees, but it also clears space for sunlight to reach the hidden seeds waiting to grow. You were not created to be fragile. You were built with divine intention. You have resilience in your bones, and your soul is wired for revival. When life seems to take everything from you, it is not trying to destroy your worth. It is inviting you to discover a deeper version of yourself. Think about it. If everything had stayed the same, would you have ever changed? If nothing had been broken, would you have ever sought healing? If everything had gone your way, would you have ever awakened to your inner strength? Sometimes life doesn't gently nudge you into a new chapter. It violently pushes you out of the old one. And as painful as that feels, it's the pressure that forges greatness. Diamonds are formed in extreme heat. Gold is refined in fire. Your purpose is often revealed through your pain. What you're going through may feel like ruin, but it may actually be a rebirth. In the middle of collapse, you must resist the urge to label yourself by your suffering. You are not your mistake. You are not your failure. You are not the rejection, the loss, or the trauma. You are not broken beyond repair. You are becoming. The pain is real, but it is also temporary. What will last longer is the strength, wisdom, and clarity that comes from surviving what was meant to break you. Reinvention starts with a choice. You don't have to know how the next chapter will unfold, but you do have to choose not to stay in the ruins of the last one. You don't need to have all the answers, but you must be willing to believe that there is more to your life than what you've seen so far. This is your turning point. Not because everything is fixed, but because you're choosing to rise anyway. The people who experience the greatest growth are not the ones who avoid destruction. They're the ones who learn how to rise from it. They are the ones who stopped waiting for the storm to pass and instead decided to dance in the rain. They are the ones who refused to stay bitter, even when they had every reason to. They are the ones who let go of what they lost and started to build something new with what they had left. It is in destruction that you find your rawest, realest self. When all the masks are gone, when the ego is shattered and the pride stripped away, you are face to face with your true core. That's where reinvention begins. Not in what you pretend to be, but in who you really are beneath the surface. Let this moment mark the death of who you were and the birth of who you're meant to become. Let this season of brokenness be the soil where your roots go deeper. Don't curse the process. Embrace it. You are not starting over. You are starting wiser, stronger, and more determined than ever. The destruction was not meant to ruin you. It was meant to redirect you. So, rise from the ashes. Wipe the tears from your face and stand back up. You may not feel ready. You may not feel strong. But the truth is, the power to reinvent your life has always been inside you. All that needed to happen was for everything false to fall away, so the real you could finally emerge. You were never finished. You are just getting started. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in the soil of your life. Most people don't realize the weight their words carry until they find themselves trapped in the very things they declared in moments of pain, anger, or fear. When life destroys you, when the weight becomes unbearable, when it feels like you've been buried under disappointment, it's easy to speak death over your future without even knowing it. But if you want an instant comeback, if you want to reverse the damage and rise again, the very first thing you must do is reclaim your words. There is power in your mouth. There is life and death in your tongue. Your words are the steering wheel of your life. They determine the direction of your next steps, even before you take them. That's why the comeback begins not with action, not with planning, not even with healing. It begins with declaration. You must open your mouth and speak what you want to see, even if everything around you contradicts it. Because when you declare your victory in the middle of defeat, you activate the invisible forces that begin to rearrange your reality in your favor. Too often, people wait for their situation to change before they change their words. But that's backwards. The situation won't change until your words do. If you keep saying, "I'm done," "I can't take this anymore," or "I'll never get through this," then those statements will become your truth. You're reinforcing the very reality you want to escape. But if you begin to speak life, "I'm still standing. This pain is temporary. I will rise again," then you start to build a new atmosphere around your life. One that draws strength, courage, and breakthrough. This isn't about pretending that everything is fine. It's about choosing what kind of energy and direction you want to attach to your life. You can be honest about your pain and still speak with power. You can be broken and still say, "I'm healing." You can be scared and still say, "I'm moving forward." It's not about being in denial. It's about being intentional. The truth is, the moment you speak, you give instructions to your soul. Your mind listens. Your emotions listen. Even your body listens. If you say, "I'm defeated," your spirit bows down. But if you say, "This will not destroy me," your spirit rises. The instant comeback method begins with reclaiming your voice. Not the voice of fear. Not the voice of self-pity. The voice of power that says, "I've been through hell, but I'm not staying there. I'm getting back up." You don't need to wait for someone to rescue you. You can speak your own rescue into existence. Start declaring who you really are. Not based on how you feel, but based on what you know to be true. You are more than your past. You are stronger than this pain. You are capable of starting over. You are worthy of healing, of peace, of joy, of success. And every time you speak that, even in a whisper, you are chipping away at the chains that tried to bind you. It doesn't matter if no one believes in you right now. It doesn't matter if they all walked away. What matters is that you believe in the power of your words. Because once you start declaring life over your situation, momentum will begin. You'll feel something shift inside you. Maybe not instantly, but gradually. You'll start walking taller, thinking clearer, breathing deeper. That's not a coincidence. That's the power of spoken intention. You don't need perfect conditions to speak victory. Speak it in the storm. Speak it through the tears. Speak it when the doubt screams louder than your faith. Speak it until your mind aligns with your mouth. Speak it until your heart starts to believe again. Speak it until the world around you begins to respond. Even the darkest night has to obey the voice of morning. And your comeback starts the moment you decide to stop repeating what's wrong and start declaring what's possible. Your words are your weapon. Use that with them. Build with them. Heal with them. Don't let the chaos silence your voice. Don't let the pain steal your power. Say it out loud: "I am not finished. I am not broken beyond repair. I am rising. I am coming back stronger, wiser, bolder. I will not be defined by what happened to me. I will be defined by how I rise from it. My voice is my victory." When everything crashes around you, it's easy to think that what you're facing is permanent. Pain has a way of making your current reality feel like your final reality. But just because you're hurting now doesn't mean you'll be hurting forever. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean you'll stay stuck. The truth is, no matter how deep the valley feels or how heavy the darkness gets, Your present situation does not define your future identity. It never has and it never will. What defines you is how you respond, how you rise, and how you choose to see yourself when everything else seems lost. In the middle of chaos, the mind tries to label what you're going through. It says, "You're broken." It whispers, "You're a failure." It screams, "You'll never recover from this." And if you're not careful, those thoughts become the narrative you live by. But you are not what happened to you. You are not your trauma, your heartbreak, or your worst moment. You are something far greater. You are someone in transition, not someone in defeat. Life has not sentenced you to failure. It has simply challenged you to rise beyond what you thought you could handle. People tend to internalize the worst moments of their life and turn them into their identity. They start saying things like, "I always mess up," or "Nothing ever works out for me. I'm just not meant for success." These words are dangerous because they place a limit on what's possible. The longer you repeat those lies, the deeper they take root. But hear this: your identity is not wrapped up in your pain. Your identity is bigger than any one moment, any failure, any disappointment. You are still becoming. And what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. If you choose to believe it, there's something powerful that happens when you refuse to let your current condition define your core. When you decide that what you're going through is only a chapter and not the entire story, you start taking your power back. You may not be able to change what happened, but you can change what you believe about it. And what you believe shapes what comes next. If you believe this is the end, then you'll stop growing. But if you believe this is the beginning of something new, you'll start rebuilding with purpose. You might be walking through a season that feels like failure. You might feel like your dreams are too far gone, like your energy is drained, like your chances are over. But let me remind you, seasons change. The winter does not last forever. The night always gives way to morning, and this moment, painful as it is just that, a moment. It's not forever. It's not your whole story. It's just one hard page in a book filled with comeback, courage, and transformation. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just have to stop letting what's around you define what's inside you. You are not your financial struggle. You are not your failed relationship. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your delay. You are a fighter. You are a survivor. You are a soul built for renewal, for recovery, and for rising. The fact that you're still breathing means your purpose isn't finished. The fact that you're still here means something greater still lives inside you. Don't allow temporary pain to steal your eternal identity. You were created for more than just surviving. You were made to overcome. You were made to lead, to love, to build, to heal, to grow. There's something in you that destruction can't erase. Your spirit. It might get buried, but it can't be broken. It might be quiet, but it hasn't been silenced. You just need to remind yourself of who you are and whose you are. Not by how you feel, but by the truth that lives inside you. You are not finished. You are not too late. You are not too broken. The comeback begins the moment you reject the false identity that pain tried to give you and reclaim the truth about who you are. And you don't have to prove it to anyone. You just have to believe it for yourself. When you believe that you're still worthy, still capable, and still chosen, even after everything that went wrong, that's when the real transformation begins. Life may have knocked you down, but it didn't knock you out. You're still in the fight. And your next chapter will not be defined by your last fall. It will be defined by your decision to rise in spite of it. Because you are not your failure. You are your comeback. You are not your breakdown. You are your breakthrough. You are not your pain. You are your power. And that truth will carry you into the life that's waiting on the other side of this storm. Courage is not born in comfort. It is born in crisis. It shows up when your hands are trembling, your heart is broken, and your future looks uncertain. But still, you choose to take a step. When life destroys you, the temptation is to freeze, to hide, to shut down, and wait for something outside yourself to fix the chaos. But the instant comeback method begins with movement. Bold, imperfect, even fearful movement. Because progress doesn't require perfection, it requires action. And action in the face of fear is the beginning of courage. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide that staying down is no longer an option. When you've lost something important, be it your peace, your purpose, your health, your hope, the first instinct is to protect yourself by doing nothing. It feels safer to stay in the pain than to risk moving forward and getting hurt again. But the longer you stay stuck, the heavier the weight becomes. And no one is coming to lift it for you. You must lift yourself by choosing to rise. Fear will try to convince you that taking a step is too risky. It will whisper that you'll fail again, that people will judge you, that you're not ready, not strong enough, not healed enough. But courage doesn't wait for fear to disappear. It moves forward anyway. Real courage is messy. It's shaky. It often looks like getting out of bed when everything in you says to stay down. It looks like trying again when your heart still remembers how badly it hurt last time. It looks like saying yes to a new beginning, even when the last ending nearly destroyed you. Movement creates momentum. The moment you take that first step, something shifts. It may be small at first. An inch forward, a new thought, a slight change in how you carry yourself. But over time, those inches add up. You begin to see glimpses of hope again. You begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end of your story. You don't need a miracle to start over. You just need a decision to act, to reach out, to pray, to try, to speak, to move. And with each step, your confidence grows. It's not about rushing. It's about refusing to settle. It's about showing yourself that you're still capable of choosing life, even in the middle of pain. It's about taking ownership of your healing instead of waiting for the perfect moment to begin. Because the perfect moment will never come. Life doesn't wait for your comfort. It rewards your courage. You may not be able to see the whole path right now. The road ahead might be foggy, full of unknowns. But you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step. One brave move, one phone call, one prayer, one conversation, one change in routine. That's where it starts. You're not trying to fix everything at once. You're just proving to yourself that you still have power. You still have control over the choices you make. And that's where freedom begins. Sometimes the step forward is physical, getting back to work, showing up, taking care of your body. Sometimes it's emotional, choosing to forgive, choosing to speak truth over your life instead of self-hate. Sometimes it's spiritual, getting quiet, surrendering your fear, trusting in a higher plan. But whatever the step is, it's yours to take. And no one can do it for you. You'll stumble. That's okay. Progress is not a straight line. Some days you'll take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Some days the fear will be louder than the faith. But don't let that stop you. Keep going. Even when it's slow. Even when it's silent. Even when no one sees the effort you're making. Your movement matters. Because it's rewiring your story from the inside out. And eventually, the fear that once paralyzed you will lose its grip. The lies that told you you'd never make it will fade. You'll look back and realize that your comeback didn't start with a sudden miracle. It started with a single, trembling step. You rose not because you felt fearless, but because you acted in spite of fear. That is real strength. So wherever you are right now, stop waiting. Don't wait for the pain to go away. Don't wait for the apology that may never come. Don't wait for the fear to leave. Move. Start. Do something, anything. Because bold action, even in weakness, is how broken people become powerful again. That's how the comeback begins. And it begins with you. There comes a point in every healing journey when the weight of what you're holding begins to crush you. You try to move forward, but the baggage of the past keeps pulling you back. You want peace, but your hands are still clenched around the pain, the betrayal, the regret. The truth is, you cannot rise while holding on to what broke you. You cannot walk into your future while dragging the chains of your past. If you want your instant comeback to begin, you must be willing to let go. Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It doesn't mean denying the pain or saying the hurt was okay. It means choosing to no longer let it rule you. It means refusing to keep reliving the wound over and over in your mind. You can honor your story without letting it hold you hostage. You can acknowledge the loss without becoming lost in it. Letting go is not forgetting, it's freeing. And it's the boldest, most powerful step you can take toward healing. There's a voice that will try to convince you to hold on. It says you need closure. It says you can't forgive. It says letting go means they win, or that the past didn't matter. But the truth is, holding on only hurts you. The other person may have moved on. The moment is long gone. And you are the one still drinking the poison, still carrying the memory like a wound that won't close. Letting go isn't weakness. It's strength. It's you standing up and saying, I will not be defined by what broke me. I choose freedom. A freedom begins where resentment ends. It begins when you stop replaying the moment they left, the time you failed, the mistake you can't take back. It begins when you stop letting guilt punish you day after day. Yes, maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you messed up. Maybe the timing wasn't right, or maybe someone truly did you wrong. But those moments are over, and your life is too precious to be lived in reverse. Letting go requires a decision. You have to choose to release the weight, even if it feels unfair, even if it feels like they don't deserve forgiveness, even if you don't feel ready. The longer you wait, the longer you suffer. The pain may not have been your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. And letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means creating space. Space for peace. Space for joy. Space for something new to enter your life. Think about this: your hands can't hold new blessings if they're already full of old burdens. Your mind can't see new opportunities if it's clouded by old memories. Your heart can't receive new love if it's still guarded by old scars. Letting go is how you prepare for what's next. It's how you say to the universe, to God, to life itself, I am ready. Ready for growth, ready for change, ready for my comeback. But it's not just about letting go of people. Sometimes, you have to let go of the version of yourself that you created to survive. The version of you that always smiles when you're broken inside. The version of you that plays small to keep the peace. The version that overworks, overgives, or overthinks because deep down you don't feel worthy. You're allowed to release that too. You're allowed to outgrow your own armor. You're allowed to stop surviving and start living. Letting go is not an event, it's a process. You may have to do it over and over, each time the memory returns or the bitterness rises again. But each time you choose peace over pain, forgiveness over fury, you heal a little more. The chains get lighter, the air gets clearer, and your soul starts to rise. This is not about becoming cold or emotionless. It's about refusing to stay trapped. It's about giving yourself the love you deserve. Because you cannot control what happened. You cannot rewrite the past. But you can control your response. You can choose to set yourself free. And that choice will change everything. So ask yourself, what are you still holding on to? What weight have you carried long enough? What pain have you allowed to speak louder than your purpose? And are you finally ready to release it? Not for them. Not to erase the past. But for you. So that you can live again, breathe again, rise again. You are not weak for letting go. You are strong. You are wise. You are powerful. And your comeback begins the moment you decide that your healing matters more than your history. It begins the moment you loosen your grip on what was, so you can finally receive what will be. There is a point in every battle when you can't see the end. You've done everything you know how to do. You've prayed, cried, worked, and waited. And still, the breakthrough hasn't come. In that space between effort and outcome, between faith and fulfillment, it's easy to lose hope. But when the future feels uncertain, when life seems silent, and you're standing in the wreckage of what once was, that's when you must choose to trust the process. That's when you anchor yourself, not in what you see, but in what you believe. Because even when nothing is visible, something powerful is happening behind the scenes. We live in a world that worships results. People want proof, signs, quick answers, and visible change. But real transformation often begins in the invisible. Just like a seed buried beneath the ground, your healing, your comeback, your restoration might not be obvious yet, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Growth is often silent. Shifts happen in the unseen before they ever show up in the physical world. You must learn to trust that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Delay is not denial. Silence is not absence. There are spiritual laws at work. Unseen forces aligning opportunities, bringing people into place, healing parts of you that words could never reach. But you must stay in position. You must keep your heart open and your faith rooted. Trusting the process doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop forcing. You let go of the anxiety and surrender to the truth that your life is being guided by something greater than your limited understanding. You stop asking how and start declaring, even if I don't see it, I believe it, bah. Faith is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's standing firm when everything inside you wants to give up. It's waking up another day and showing up with hope, even when yesterday broke your heart. Trust is choosing to believe that your story is not over, even when the chapter feels impossible. It's believing that every setback, every delay, every tear, and every unanswered prayer is part of a bigger picture. And that picture is one of redemption, purpose, and victory. When you trust the process, you stop needing all the answers. You stop needing to control every outcome. Instead, you live in alignment with peace, knowing that what is meant for you will find you. Not when you strive harder, but when you let go and surrender to timing beyond your control. That doesn't mean you sit back passively. It means you move forward actively, but with a quiet confidence that you are supported, even when you feel alone. It takes maturity to accept that not every door you want to open is meant to open right now. It takes wisdom to realize that some prayers aren't answered because something better is being prepared. And it takes deep spiritual trust to hold on in the between spaces of life. Those seasons where it feels like nothing is happening, when in fact everything is being rearranged for your good. There is a divine intelligence at work in your life. Even the pain has purpose. Even the delays have design. You weren't meant to carry the weight of everything on your own. Some things are shifting that you cannot yet see. Some battles are being fought for you that you'll never witness. Some victories are already won. They just haven't been revealed yet. That's why trust is so powerful. It invites peace into your chaos. It brings rest to your anxiety. It allows you to breathe in the middle of the storm. Trust doesn't require evidence. It requires surrender. It requires waking up and saying, I don't know how this will work out, but I trust that it will. It requires praying even when it feels like no one is listening. It requires holding on to your vision, even when it looks impossible. And most of all, it requires patience. Knowing that what is being built inside you during this season is preparing you for the breakthrough ahead. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. And in time, everything that felt confusing will make sense. Everything that felt wasted will bear fruit. Everything that hurt will be healed. But until then, you must trust, not blindly but boldly. Trust with expectation. Trust with confidence. Trust with the kind of faith that shakes fear at its core. Your comeback isn't just about what you do. It's about what you believe in the quiet places. It's about the inner certainty that you are being led to a future greater than your past. And that future is coming. Slowly, maybe, yes, but surely. So keep going. Keep believing. Keep trusting the process. Because what's coming is worth everything you've walked through to get there.